Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Linnea, and today I wanted to give you guys a reading of career advice. Now, this can be about your future career path, or it could be pertaining to the job that you have right now. But this is all about advice from Spirit and the universe about what you need to hear about your career right now. So if maybe you're feeling a little bit lost, or maybe there's tensions at work, or maybe you're thinking about pivoting into a new field, whatever it is that's currently on your mind, we're going to be looking at that today. So, today I have 3 different readings for you to choose from. I have pile 1 with the rose quartz, pile 2 with the malachite, and pile 3 with the green aventurine. So go ahead and pause, figure out which reading you feel most drawn to. There's timestamps down in the description box below so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, pile 1, if you chose the rose quartz, then this is the reading for you. And I'm already really excited for you because I can tell that if you are drawn to this pile, you're starting something that I personally feel like you are going to be really good at. I think that you are somebody that has the natural talent, the drive, and the passion to succeed in what you want to do. But I feel like the biggest challenges that you have right now are people underestimating you. Because I'm almost imagining, and this doesn't necessarily need to be you, but I'm imagining, let's say, like a woman going into the surgical field. And there's all these other men who maybe they're like older white guys and they all underestimate her. Maybe they automatically assume that she's a nurse, right, when she walks in. Like, I'm sure a lot of female doctors in this field have dealt with that before. But I'm just imagining, like, this field is full of people that are underestimating you, and you, at first, maybe you'll feel like, oh, I don't know, maybe they do know better, or maybe I'm not good enough. But then you kind of realize, like, you know, I went through the exact same things that these people went through to get to here. I went to the exact same schooling. I did the exact amount of time of work. Like, I have earned my right to be here. And I feel like Spirit is just trying to remind you, like, first of all, you have every right to be here. Second of all, just because these people are older, or just because they're quote unquote wiser, because they say they are, doesn't necessarily mean that they are better. I think you definitely have the capacity to not just succeed in this field, but to even excel beyond other people. Maybe you didn't have the traditional schooling, or maybe you're younger, maybe you're a woman, or maybe you're XYZ, I don't know, maybe you come from a different background from what people normally come into. Like, maybe you're going into the finance world and all the people in that world are like, they have daddy's money and like they grew up with a lot of money, and then here you are, you know, barely being able to pay rent, but this is something that you're passionate about, it's something you're interested in. What I'm seeing here is, first of all, I see great success for you in the future. Like, I do not doubt that at all. I think that you have the ability, the means, the mind, the smarts, the passion to succeed. But the biggest thing that can stand in your way is your own personal lack of belief. I'm imagining somebody that wants to be like the #1 UFC fighter, but you don't have anybody in your corner. You have the ability, you have the drive, you can work out and push yourself to get to those fights and do this, but at the end of the day, there's nobody else in that corner but you. And if you are fighting yourself, if your brain is telling you, we can't do this because we're smaller, we can't do this because we didn't grow up in the right background, you're fighting yourself. You are bringing yourself down. But if you have your mind telling you, we have every right to be here, we can do this, we have the passion, we have the drive, we have the experience, we can succeed. When we fall down, we're gonna get back up. If you have that kind of mindset, you could push yourself all the way to the top. I truly see you being able to succeed, but I think given the fact that you're starting from a different starting point, maybe you come from a different background, maybe people are underestimating you, you have to have a little bit more grit. Because maybe a man going into the surgical field, for example, he might have other men coming to his aid and being like, oh, I'll show you. Like, here, let me teach you. Let me lend you a hand. Because, I don't know, maybe there's relatability there. But then with a woman, it's like, well, maybe nobody's coming to your aid. Maybe nobody's offering to teach you extra. Maybe you need to seek out those experiences. Maybe you need to spend more time at the library to learn. You know what I mean? And so what I'm seeing for you here is you have the Strength card and the Knight of Swords. I think the biggest thing that will allow you to succeed in your career is, first of all, keep a level head. Don't let emotions get the best of you. Don't let other people's opinions or judgment get the best of you. Always remember your why. Why am I doing this? And not just that, but Why do I deserve to succeed? Because I care? Because I know that my heart and my mind are truly in this 100%, that you're doing it for the right reasons? Remember that you deserve a seat at the table, how much work you've put in. Don't let other people, like, for example, say that you went to a community college and they went to Harvard. Don't let them look down on you because, oh, I went to an Ivy League and I had papa's money. It's like, no, you put in the exact same amount of work. Maybe it was a different school, but you're learning the exact same things and you have just as much of a right to sit at this table as they do. And with the strength card, you need to put on that strong face. You're going to be the one that needs to put on that armor. People are going to throw rocks at you. People are going to shoot arrows at you. And it's going to suck. It sucks to feel judgment. It sucks to feel like people don't want you there. But at the end of the day, all that matters is that you succeed in doing what you love. All that matters is, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is you. These other people don't matter. Their opinions don't matter. It's your life. Never allow anybody else to dictate your life because they're not the one living it. You are. And if somebody says something hateful or spiteful or somebody tries to bring you down and you give in to that, you are giving up control of your life to somebody else. And you would not do that. It's like, there's this guy, Leo Skeppy, who he's a little problematic, but there are some of his things that have really stuck with me. And one of these things that he said is like, you would not give a Birkin to a crackhead. Maybe it's not the most PC thing to say, but like, for example, a Birkin is a purse that is like $300,000. That's the equivalent of some houses, right? It's a purse. You would not give that to somebody that's not going to see the value in it. You're not going to give that to somebody that's not going to take good care of it. And if you think of what is the most important thing in the world to you, it's your life, your autonomy, and your future. Do not hand that off to somebody else. When somebody tells you, oh, you can't do this, why are you letting them decide what you can and cannot do? When somebody says you're not good enough, why should you listen to them? At the end of the day, like I said, there's nobody in your corner but you. The only opinion that matters is yours. And up next, we have the Confidence card and the Eight of Pentacles. I think a big thing is like, yeah, we can tell ourselves these things. We can tell ourselves other people's opinions don't matter. But at the end of the day, it does wear down our confidence. I mean, we're only human. And humans are social creatures. It's literally in our DNA to care what other people think of us. But the best thing that can build up your confidence is repetitions of whatever it is that you're trying to do. For example, let's say that you want to be a car salesman. I don't know why, but you want to be a car salesman. The best way that you can build up your confidence in your abilities is selling things. And maybe it's not like cars because, depends on the economy and it's few and far between. But let's say that you go to the farmer's market and you set up this stall where you're making bracelets or something. Practice those sales skills, or maybe it's not even your stall. Maybe you offer to work at somebody's stall and practice your sales skills. Practice selling these things to people. Practice those conversational skills. Right before I started this reading, I was literally looking at YouTube shorts and it was like, I don't know if you're an entrepreneur, but there's this guy on TikTok. I wish I could remember his name, but he goes around the world interviewing millionaires and billionaires, like the richest people of society, and he asks them the same questions of how did you get here? How did you get through hard times? What was the most important lesson that you learned to get yourself to the top? What's the thing that set you financially free? I feel like when you build up those skills, you learn these things, it's gonna instill that confidence in you. And the important thing of me bringing that up was there was this guy, it was a salesman, I don't know what he sold, homes or yachts, whatever, it was something crazy. But he said the best way to be a salesman is asking people questions about themselves, asking yes questions that then lead them to saying yes to whatever it is you're trying to sell them. Maybe that pertains to some of you, probably not all of you, but it's this idea of like, okay, you want to be a car salesman, but you don't have that sales background, or maybe you don't have a ton of confidence in your skills, but you know that's what you want to do. You know you're good at talking to people, and you know you want to make bank. Okay, so let's start off small. If we can't practice selling cars every single day, what can we practice selling? Okay, I'm going to practice my sales skills on, I don't know, sell Girl Scout cookies. Like those Girl Scouts know how to sell a damn cookie. Go to the farmer's market, set up a stall, sell some bracelets, or work for somebody else trying to sell their products. Practice that, speaking to other people, interacting with them, learning the different kinds of people, introverts, extroverts, how to interact with them, how to get them to warm up to you, how to gently nudge them towards buying something that you know that they, a part of them does want, but maybe doesn't want to spend the money. It's one of those things where you just need to feel your way around it, develop those skills. And the best way to build confidence is repetition. Right now I'm working as a marine biologist, and before, for a few years I'd been working at this company where I had never written reports. In my mind, writing reports is something that only the senior scientists or the project managers or the APMs did. This was not something I thought was on my level. But I expressed interest. I knew I was a pretty good writer. I am a good writer. I know I'm a good writer. It's important to remember those things. Don't belittle yourself. Don't speak down on yourself when you know you have confidence in something. I know I'm a good writer, so I'm gonna say it. I'm a good writer. I knew I was a good writer, so I put myself out there and I expressed interest. I said, if you guys have a ton on your plate, I'd love to try this. I was pushing myself out of my comfort zone. I had never used Excel. If you don't know how to use Excel, or if you have used Excel before, there is so much to learn in it. The learning curve is insane. And when I tell you, this has to be one of the most difficult things I've done in a while. It was literally trial by fire. Going from having no experience to just being thrown into this huge project. Because I was given a huge project. I was given this huge report. I had to learn how to make all these charts and tables and learn how to make calculators in Excel, and then take that stuff and apply it, and it all had to be correct. And all this to say, the only way I was able to build that confidence was by doing. And now I'm on the 4th report that I'm doing now. I'm churning these things out, and I've made mistakes along the way, but making those mistakes, I've been able to learn from them. And the more that I do them, the more confidence I have. And it's you just have to do in order to build that confidence. If you're trying to get into brain surgery and you're well, I don't know how steady my hand is, I don't know how well I know these things, okay, go take a bunch of tests on neuroscience, have people quiz you, show your knowledge, do some other surgeries, easier ones where it's okay, I'm practicing, I'm getting comfortable working with these tools, I'm building that muscle memory. When people get your confidence down, when they tell you, oh, you don't seem like you'd be very good at this, the only way that you can build up that confidence when people shoot it down is repetition. Whatever it is that you want to do, maybe it's candle making. If you want to be the best candle maker in the world, you know how you build up that confidence that you are a good candle maker? It's by making candles. It seems simple, but it's that repetition over time, building that muscle memory and building that confidence in your abilities that is going to build up that confidence that shows on you, shows on your face, shows in the way that you carry yourself. Then when you walk into a room, people aren't going to second guess whether or not you can do something, because you have that aura of, I have put hours and hours into this craft, into my skills, into building myself into somebody that knows how to do this. No one is going to question it, especially not you. So if you're questioning yourself, if you are lacking confidence in your abilities, just start doing. It doesn't need to be on a crazy scale. Like I said, if you want to sell Lamborghinis, start out at the farmer's market. Build those skills until you feel confident to be hell yeah, I could sell that Lamborghini. I can sell anything to anybody, And finally, with faith and the Hanged Man. What this tells me is, of course, we need to have that confidence. We need to be, logical, not really using our emotions, when you're trying to build that confidence in yourself, don't let other people's opinions bring you down. Don't let judgment bring you down. And don't let your self-doubt become this poison within you. So all that's very important. But also, I think that there is a spiritual aspect of, do you truly believe that you are in the right place? Do you truly believe that you are doing what you are meant to do? Because if you can answer those questions, if you feel like you are being divinely guided and led towards where you're meant to be, that this is your purpose, this is a part of your story, your life's plan, that's an extra level of confidence that, yes, we can have the physical confidence that we can do this. We can have the mental confidence that we have the knowledge that we need. But do you also have that spiritual confidence? Can you align yourself on the physical, mental, and spiritual planes that this is what you're meant to do? Because when you can get all of that down, nobody can shoot you down. Nobody can stop you. Nobody can get in your way. And nobody's opinions will be able to slow you down. You know why? Because every single part of your being is aligned to the fact that this is what you're meant to do. You are in the exact right place and that you deserve to succeed in this. And I truly see whatever it is that you're trying to do, you can succeed at it. I see you have such a capacity to be an expert in whatever this field is. But it starts with you. Because like I said, there's nobody in your corner but you. You need to get your mind right, so your mind is encouraging you. You need to get those physical repetitions so that you can trust your ability to do this. And then spiritually, you need to get right. You need to ask yourself, does this feel right? Does this set my heart on fire? Is this where I want to be? Is this what I want to do? Do I feel guided? Because Spirit is right there with you. I don't think that Spirit is only with us when we're, I don't know, serving charities or doing things to help others. Like, yes, those things are great. But at the end of the day, I think the purpose of life and our personal path, it's personally tailored to us. And at the end of the day, it's all about what sets your heart on fire. You know, people might look at like, oh, what's my purpose? It can't be something as simple as baking. Well, maybe it is. If it sets your heart on fire, if it makes you happy, if it puts meaning into your life, if it's what you truly enjoy, then it is what you're meant to do. So get yourself right on all these levels, and I promise you, success will come. You can do anything you want as long as you have all of these planes of yourself in alignment. And you can get them in alignment, but it starts with believing in yourself. Truly, I think that's the only thing that could ever hold you back is yourself. No one can hold you back from belief in yourself but yourself. No one can hold you back from success but yourself. Because there might be failures along the way, but it's not really a failure if you get back up and try again. If you get back up and you try something new. If you get back up and say, okay, maybe this avenue's not working, but I'm going to take this back road and I'm going to find another way. No one can stop you if you have that mindset and if you have that belief in yourself. So Pile 1, that is everything that I have for you. I truly wish you the best in whatever this endeavor is. I see so much success for you. I see so much strength and ability within you, but it starts with getting your mind right. Can you believe in yourself over everything else, over other people's opinions, over judgment from others? That is what should matter most. So that's everything that I have. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Okay, Pile 2. If you chose the Malachite, then this is the reading for you, and you're gonna need to buckle up because I feel like there is so much that I'm not teaching to you necessarily, but I'm trying to like bang on your head because I think the most confident version of you knows this. But there's a big lack of trust that you have within yourself that is holding you back. And I'm just gonna say straight out the front, I think obviously what I'm seeing in these cards, I know right away, you are somebody that is meant to pursue what you are passionate about. You are not meant to pursue something that does not set your heart on fire. You are meant to do the things that you love in this lifetime, and the things that you love, they are going to bring you the most success in every aspect of your life. But I see you holding yourself back, and I don't want to blame you because it's not your fault. It is your fault, however, when you realize this and you allow it to still hold you back. And I'm going to explain what I mean by this. So if you have a child, right, and you raise them from a young age and you tell them you can only be a surgeon because that makes money and that's going to keep you stable, that's going to allow you to have the life that you want, right? And every single day of this kid's life, you know, let's say, I don't know, they're drawing with crayons and instead you're like, nope, I need to take that away. Here's a scalpel. I mean, obviously you wouldn't give a scalpel to a child, but for the analogy, it's like, okay, you know what, I'm taking that away. Here's this instead. You're going to go practice your skills. You say that every single day. And then that kid is thinking like, oh, I kind of want to do this thing that I think is interesting. Like, I don't know, I want to make this candle. And then they get shot down and I don't know, you're like, no, you can't do that. That's silly. Or maybe the kid, I don't know, it's something as simple as you're going on a hike and the kid is like, well, I know that we have to go right. I know that this is the right way because I looked at the map. I studied the map beforehand. But then you're like, no, we're going left. You're wrong. And it's like, I'm imagining you growing up, always being shown that your way is not correct, that what your heart or your intuition or your mind says, it's probably not right. I think a lot of people did not believe you, and it's led to you as an adult not being able to believe yourself. There is such a lack of trust in your intuition that you're outsourcing these answers to other people. And I mean, I'm one of them. You're outsourcing your career advice to a tarot reader online. And I mean, not to discount, like, I think, some people do need this advice. Some people truly can't see the way. But I think you have all the answers within you. You just haven't been able to trust them. And like I said, like, it's not your fault. Somebody taught you to be this way. Somebody enforced in your mind that your way is not right. Somebody embedded into your psyche, into your bones, that your intuition is not to be trusted, that your heart is not to be trusted, and that your abilities are not enough to allow you to succeed. Somebody embedded that in you. And I'm not saying that it was all your parents' fault. It could be society, it could have been friends, it could have just been a buildup of things along the way. But where it becomes your fault is if you come to a point where you realize this and you don't do anything about it. That's when you are no longer a victim. You can only call yourself a victim if you can't change anything. And right now, you're on this precipice where I think the universe has been trying to show you that there's this passion. I don't know what it is. It could be art or entrepreneurship or even just a different avenue that maybe you're really interested in. Like, for example, my girlfriend's brother, he was pursuing engineering, and he decided that he wants to drop out of college, and I'm not going to put my opinions on this, but he wants to drop out of college because he wants to be a personal trainer. And I just bring this up because I see within him, like, he wakes up at 3:30 in the morning to go to work at the gym, and he works on his body day in, day out. I'm always seeing him posting these pictures of, like, his progress, and, like, he's super disciplined with his diet, and it's something he's really interested in. And I'm not going to put in my own opinions of this situation, obviously, but I see, like, his family saying things like, oh, you need to go back to school, you can't quit this. And what I will say, the opinion that I'm holding back is, as somebody that has dropped out of college, it makes life a lot more, not difficult, depending on your circumstances, but it makes avenues a bit harder to go down than it would be for people that do have a degree. My personal advice to him would have been, just finish it out. You only have a few more years, get the degree, and then pursue whatever you want. So at least you have something to fall back on. Like, I'm never going to discourage anybody from following their heart, but you also have to be realistic. We live in Southern California where rent is like $2,000 for a place with roommates. Like, things are expensive here. Money is a real thing. Anyways, a bit of a tangent. All this to say is, I see in him this passion in something that's a little unconventional. And everybody around him wants to shoot it down because they automatically assume that he can't be successful in it. I see he could be successful in it. I see this being a need. We live in an affluent area where people are likely to want personal trainers. And I see him being somebody that's extremely driven towards what he's passionate about, willing to work day in, day out on his body, on his training regimen. He's a very disciplined guy. He could be very successful in that, and I see that. And so I bring up all this to say is there are people in your life that I can see who have shot down this idea, or maybe have seen you, I don't know, practicing art and being like, oh, well, that's great and all, but you're still going to go to school, right? And I think all of this has led you to this point where the universe is trying to show you that there's this path that you're meant to go down. And I mean that. It's a path you're meant to go down, where you pursue your passions, pursue what you care about, pursue what you love, but you can't trust that message. You can't trust it when the universe brings it up to you. You can't trust it when your own heart tells you, I want to do this. You shut it down. When your mind is like, well, I mean, it could be great, like it could be lucrative, we could do it this way, you shut it down because you're like, no, you know what, but mom said we have to do it this way, and so therefore she must be right. You are an adult. At the end of the day, you are living your own life. You need to make decisions for yourself. That is the biggest thing to get out of this. there is this thing in your heart that you know that you love, that you know you want to do, and all these other things, they don't feel right. And you, instead of looking within and trying to get the answer from yourself, you're outsourcing it. Maybe you're asking other people, what do you think I should do? Maybe you came online looking for this career advice. You're asking Spirit, what should I do? Instead of asking yourself, what do I want to do? Because like I said, something to fall back on is great, but also pursuing your passion is great. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you should do. There's no one right way to do it. It's what feels right to you. What do you feel the universe drawing you to? Because I truly believe the universe will always push us in the direction that we're meant to. And maybe you've been getting these signs and synchronicities of like, I don't know, a performing arts college instead of going to another college. And maybe you're seeing all these signs pointing to, I don't know, there's people reaching out being like, oh, there's this slot open. And you see these synchronicities, these angel numbers, or these personal signs that mean something to you, all pointing in the direction of this. It's like the universe is giving you these giant pointing signs of like, this is where you're meant to go. But with the High Priestess reversed, you're kind of just, you're not trusting it. You're shooting it down. You're like, oh, it's just my wishful thinking. It's just me wanting to see signs. No. You know within you, there is a compass built into all of us called our intuition, and it points us in the direction that we're meant to go. It is the part of us that always knows where true north is, and it guides us to where our highest good is. But if you don't listen to it, it's like you're just walking backwards into a river and then the water's just going to sweep you away, you know? With this magic card, I truly believe that there is a magical, beautiful, exciting future for you, filled with passion, pursuing what you love. And the universe is trying to get you on the side of, hey, you have this passion for a reason, it's because you're meant to do it. And you're just deny, because that's not the story society told me. The story society told me is I need to become a surgeon. I need to pursue this path. You know, the story that my parents told me is I need to do this. Therefore, anything else must not be right. You fundamentally cannot believe in yourself right now. You're choosing to go against your intuition, go against your inner guidance and the outer guidance of spirit and your spirit guides, where they're trying to lead you. All these signs and synchronicities, these things trying to put you on this other path, you're ignoring. It's because you're afraid to trust yourself. You're afraid that if you trust yourself and you're wrong, then everybody else is right. Then everybody else is right, that you can't trust yourself, that you're not smart enough, that you can't trust your own way forward. But it's time to take a leap. Because if you don't, you are fundamentally betraying yourself. You are fundamentally choosing to do something that you are not meant for. There is a path for all of us. It is the path that gives our life meaning. It's the path that sets our heart on fire. And it is the path that is personally crafted for all of us. I truly believe that we all have a path and a purpose that we are meant to pursue. And this purpose is not something that's a chore. It's something that truly is crafted for us because it's what we love. There is something that you love, that you are meant to do. I don't know. I just pictured like somebody playing with puppies. Like maybe you're meant to be a veterinarian, but everybody's telling you like, oh, you need to go be a lawyer. And it's like, but there's no puppies if you be a lawyer. And it's one of those things where people shoot it down because they think it can be right. But what do they know? Genuinely, if these people shooting you down, telling you what to do, ask yourself, are they happy? Are they pursuing their passions? Are they doing something with their life that has purpose and meaning? Because if they're not, you see them wake up and they look miserable and they're always complaining about everything and they're doing something that I don't love, why would you listen to them? Why are you trying to emulate their life? Because clearly they don't have all the answers. So why are you following their advice? And with the passion card, I think you might not even be able to tap into what are you passionate about. I think a part of you knows that you want to pursue a path that you enjoy, a path that you love. You want to pursue something, but you can't, I feel like you're so blocked, so repressed within that you can't even really tap into that passion. It's like you don't even want to explore it. Like I'm imagining somebody that's so repressed that they're like it doesn't necessarily need to be this way, but I'm imagining somebody that's like sexually repressed, for example. They can't even tap into what they might be interested in because their entire life they've been told, that's bad, don't do that, don't think about that, don't have those dirty thoughts, you must repent if you even think about that, or if you even gaze upon that, like go pray. It's like, and then it builds you into this adult that can't even like fathom asking yourself what you might enjoy. And like I said, I don't necessarily think that it's a sexual thing, but it's like that idea of like, you can't even really ask yourself and find the answer of what am I passionate about because you've never been able to properly explore it. When I look at this Four of Pentacles reversed, it's somebody that's so wound up tight in this idea of what the future is supposed to look like, of what their life is supposed to be, that they can't even unwind a little bit to ask themselves, well, what do I actually want? Nobody's asked you that question before of, what do you really want to do in this life? And because of that, you don't even really know how to answer the question. But still, there is a yearning, a primal yearning within you that is yearning for more, that wants more than just a 9 to 5 that's unfulfilling. And hey, I have nothing against 9 to 5s. I think 9 to 5s can be very fulfilling. I don't know if I mentioned in this reading, but I'm a marine biologist. It's not necessarily what I love. I enjoy it, but there's people in my job that like they get their nails done and it has like little fish and stuff on it, or like my coworker for Halloween, she dressed up as a nudibranch, which is like a sea slug, and it's like these people, yeah, it's a 9 to 5, but they're doing what they are so passionate about and enjoy so much. So there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5. The only part that's wrong is if you wake up every morning and you hate it. Or if you wake up every morning and you just feel time slipping away, like you're losing control of your life and forced into a box you don't want to be in. So you may not know what your passion is, but you know what you don't like. And I heard this really amazing thing where it's like, maybe you don't know what direction to go in, but try one, and if it doesn't feel right, great. At least you know what direction not to go in. You try the 9 to 5 and you're like, man, I hate this. Okay. That means that it's not for you. Great, you figured out one thing that you don't like. Maybe what you want to try instead is working from home, and then you're like, I still don't like that either. Maybe you try running your own shop, and you're like, this feels a little bit better, but not perfect, and it's just kind of feel your way around. Try different things until you unlock that thing that's like, yes, this is what I want to do. This is what I love. This is what sets my heart on fire. Because you will know it when you feel it. But no one has ever given you permission to explore and find it. And that's the problem. Now, you're at this point in your life where you're not a kid, okay? Nobody's telling you what to do. And nobody's given you permission to explore, so give yourself permission. But the only thing holding you back right now is yourself. Nobody's given you permission, so you don't know how to give yourself permission. You know, people have told you you can't explore that, so therefore now you're an adult where you could explore that, but there's this resistance within you, this fear of trying that thing. And so I want to urge you, whatever it is that you want to do, we are in this time in history where we have everything at our fingertips. If right now I wanted to learn to become like an archer, you know, and be one of the best, I could literally right now look on YouTube how to make a bow and arrow, how to make arrows from household items, or how to make it from stuff you find at Home Depot. I could set up a target and I could learn all the techniques in my backyard. I might look a little funny, but who cares? Like, if that's what I love, I'm able to learn it. If you're really into like trading stocks, I don't know, maybe you find out that that's what you really want to do. Do you know how much information there is online? How many courses there are? Whatever it is that you want to do, you can learn it. You can do it. You can pursue it. But it starts with you giving yourself permission of being like, you know, when we were little, everybody told us it's not okay to pursue these things that we love. Everybody told us that life had to look a certain way. But those people are not in charge of our life. So ask yourself, what do I want to do? What makes me happy? And if I don't know what makes me happy, then it's time to explore, because the worst thing that you can do in life is never find what you love. That's an empty, hollow life. I truly believe everybody needs to have a passion in their life, and it expresses itself in different ways. Maybe it's your full-time job, or maybe it's your hobby on the side, or maybe it's a hobby on the side that actually took off and now you can turn it into your full-time job. Whatever it is, It starts with unrepressing ourselves, allowing ourselves to explore, find what makes our heart beat a little bit faster, find what makes us feel passionate, and then doing it. And finally, with the happiness card and the Six of Wands reversed, you might be saying, I don't know. I don't know what makes me happy. Okay, start looking. It's as simple as that. You keep saying to yourself these same things. Well, I don't know, or I can't figure it out. Okay, try. You can ruminate all you want. You can say these same stories in your head. You can get into the cycle of saying the exact same thing over and over again. But let's just try some things. Okay, go on a hike. You're like, I didn't really like the exercise. I wasn't really into getting sweaty, but I liked looking at the flowers. And then you're like, okay, maybe I'll get a book of flowers. And you're like, this is good, but I don't really like that it's in a book. And then eventually that leads you to finding gardening. And you're like, oh my God, I love this. And then you're like, well, I don't really know how I could turn this into a passion. Well, maybe it turns into designing gardens for people. And you might say, well, I don't really know where to start. There's the internet. Figure it out. Make a TikTok where you come up with these designs. Maybe you're not even physically doing it, but you are, I don't know, doing like a markup sketch of like there's this guy on TikTok that he reacts to these videos of rooms that have terrible feng shui. Like the rooms are just set up horribly. And then he shows you, like he builds this little diagram out of paper and draws the room. And he's like, well, if you move the bed here and you move the sofa here, and all of a sudden the room looks great. And it's like one of those things where you put all these limitations on yourself of, oh, but I don't have access to a bunch of dirt and a bunch of plants. Like I can't just go design a garden. You can do it on your iPad. You can draw the garden, and you can do that for clients who are like, I have this big plot of land, but I don't know what to do with it. And then you tell them, okay, well, given this area and you are interested in having a water feature, you could put a pond here, and you can structure it just so that a garden would fit perfectly here, and then you can have your relaxation area here, and then you still have all this space over here to do whatever you want, and it's like opening these people's eyes. And it's all coming from this place of passion from you, where you are just doing what you love. You love the form and the function. You love creating. You love the outdoor space. You love working within the confines of a backyard, for example. I don't know, but explore. Figure it out. And if you literally have no idea where to start, I'd say start by doing different things. Start by doing something that you don't normally do. Okay, you can't figure out what you want to do with your life. Okay, but you have this same routine, right? You wake up, you go to work, you go home, you cook, you go to bed. If you branch out and try some new things, maybe let's go into town for a day and just walk around all the shops. That might bring some inspiration to you. Walking around and seeing, oh wow, this person has their own little shop where they have pens and pencils. That inspires me to buy this because I've been meaning to journal. And then you realize, man, I really like writing. Boom, now you realize you want to be a writer. Or maybe you travel to a new town and you get into a conversation with a person, and like me and my girlfriend went to Idlewild for Valentine's Day, and there's a guy that has a shop there that's literally just a beef jerky shop. Like it's straight up all he sells is beef jerky. Like, okay, there was some pickled goods, but it's literally just a beef jerky store. Like people might look at you when you say, yeah, my dream is to make beef jerky and sell it. They might be like, well, that's not gonna get you anywhere. And it's like, there's literally people out there that have done it. Anything that people shoot down, any idea that you can come up with, I promise you, somebody has already done. And don't let that shoot you down of thinking like, oh, it's already been done, therefore I can't do it. There are millions of podcasts, millions of movies, millions of TV shows. There's a reason that there's not just one. It's because there are so many different perspectives, so many different unique creations. You might look at that beef jerky store and be like, oh, well, it's already been done, but maybe you do it a different way. Maybe you make pepper jerky. I don't know. Maybe you make jerky out of bell peppers. I don't know. Maybe you do something different. It's your own unique flavor, your own unique spin. And the reason that you have the ability to be successful in something that's already been done is because nobody's done it from your perspective. No, you've never done it. And maybe somebody else has done it, but you've never done it. There is always a unique spin that can be put on it. And the biggest thing that can shoot you down is your own lack of confidence. That voice telling you like, oh, well, people have already written books on this subject before, so therefore I should never do it. dude, there's always going to be somebody that's interested in what you're doing because it's unique. The worst thing that you can do is copy somebody else, because then there's no point in truly making something. If you're just copying what somebody else did, then there's no point. But if you're doing it and putting your own twist on it, all of a sudden it's this new thing. It doesn't matter if somebody's done something similar to it before. Nobody's done what you've done. And that's the important part. And so pile 2, I think the main thing that Spirit is trying to tell you right now is it's very clear that the path that you're going down doesn't make you happy. And it's probably because people have told you that this is what you're meant to do. And at the end of the day, our purpose, our passion, what we're meant to do with our life is a deeply personal path. And the only person that can tell you what to do in this life, to tell you what will actually make you happy, to tell you what that true purpose is yourself. And it's your responsibility to find it, to find what you're passionate about, and then to pursue it. Not for the purpose of creation at the end, but for the purpose of enjoying the journey, of making your life about something more, about something that you love. It could be baking, it could be photography, or it could be designing gardens, like I said, designing backyards. Or it could be working at Domino's. I've seen this video online where it was this guy who, he works at Domino's and he loves it. He loves making every single pizza. Some people might look at that and be like, oh, that's a dead-end job, 9 to 5, like you're not going to get anywhere. Some people truly, genuinely love that. And so it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what anybody says. All that matters is that you love it, that you love what you do. And you deserve to find it. And it starts with searching. Keep an open mind and an open heart. I promise you, the universe will guide you to where you're meant to go. But it starts with you being able to trust yourself, allowing yourself to explore, and allowing yourself to trust the guidance. When you see those angel numbers, don't shoot it down. When you see those signs and synchronicities, lean into that. Lean into, this feels like something is calling to me. Lean into that. Don't brush it away and be like, just a coincidence. There's no coincidences when it comes to stuff like this. The universe is reaching out to you, and it's time to be receptive to it. So pile 2, that is everything that I have for you. I truly wish you the best. I truly think that you can live a beautiful, successful, happy life filled with passion. But it starts with you. So that's everything that I have. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile 3. Last but certainly not least, if you chose the green aventurine, then this is the reading for you. And the reading that I have for you here today, like I said, this is going to be career advice. I feel like you have gone through this string of trying new things and them not working out for one reason or another, and then you walk away from them. And I think that if you were to look back on these things, you'd realize you could have kept trying, and it wasn't that it was impossible to accomplish them. It wasn't even that they didn't work out, because that's such a vague answer. You gave up on them. And more than that, you gave up on yourself. You lacked belief in your ability to do these things. And so your mind came up with all these reasons why you couldn't do it, and came up with all these reasons of why you should stop. And it's not your fault if you didn't realize. You know, it's one thing when we have these traumas built into us that tell us you can't do this, you're not going to succeed. You know, when we have people around us bringing us down mentally, that's one thing. But if you realize that this is a pattern, you realize that you are self-sabotaging your ability to succeed. If you are acutely aware of the inner workings of your mind and what's causing you to not succeed, and you don't change anything, now it's your fault. You have nobody to blame but yourself. You can't say it didn't work out. Instead, you have to say, I gave up on myself. And I'm not saying this to belittle you or make you feel bad. I'm saying this because you need to be upfront and honest. You are somebody that wants success, but you don't want the hard work that goes into it. And I'm not saying this to make you feel bad. I'm saying everybody feels that way. Everybody wants success without the hard work. But the people that succeed are the ones that, they don't want that hard work, but they do it anyway. And I feel like time and time again, there have been these things that you've come across, whether it's trying this major or that major, or trying to start this business, or getting interested in learning more about XYZ, whatever it is, you've started down this path, and then something's come up, something that makes you feel like you're not good enough. Like, oh, it's going to be a lot of money to have to try to do that. Or, oh, this is going to take 10 years. I thought it was only going to take 5 years. Something has come up that has brought in that worry, brought in that fear, brought in that self-doubt. And your mind grabs onto it. It's not even the mind, it's the ego. The ego grabs onto this, and the ego feeds us these things of saying, yeah, that's going to be way too long. You're not going to be successful. You're not able to do this. Or you're not good enough. Or maybe other people can do that, but not you. Or you don't have enough money to be able to do that. And the reason the ego does this, the reason the ego self-sabotages us is because fear serves a purpose of keeping us safe. Your ego is trying to prevent you from feeling failure because it doesn't want you to get hurt. It doesn't want you to feel rejected. It doesn't want you to feel like a loser, for lack of a better term. I don't really like that term, but that's what the ego does. It's preventing us from getting hurt. But it also stops us from reaching our fullest potential. And I think you were a victim of your ego. But if you realize that this is happening, you realize it's your fault, you cannot blame this on anything but yourself. And I know that it's a hard message to hear, but you are not a victim. Maybe you were at one point, but right now, you know exactly what has led to those failures. It was you. And now you have a hard choice to make. Are you going to commit? Are you going to actually put your all into something? You're going to allow yourself to fail and get back up and keep trying? Or are you going to continue to wrongly continue to call yourself a victim when really you're just sabotaging yourself? And I don't say this to berate you. I say this to wake you up. I think you need some tough love because you are somebody that is meant to succeed, but you are afraid of the hard work. You're afraid of the failure. You're afraid of it not working out. And since you're afraid of these hard things, it never brings you the good things. Any person that has had a successful business has had to put themselves out there, has had to go through that hard work, has had to go through trial and error, has had to fail multiple times, has had to feel that judgment of other people. And you might be looking at these people and say, oh, wow, look at how successful they are. I sure wish I could be like them. You can, but are you willing to put in the same work that they did? All you see is, the shiny watch on their wrist and the fancy car that they drive, and you're like, oh, woe is me, I wish that could be me. But you don't see all the hard shit that they had to go through to get to that. If you want that, I encourage you. Something that might help you is read the life stories of people that you look up to. People that started from nothing and built an empire. People that built an incredible business that now runs the world. Read their life story. Not the ones that started with daddy's money, but the ones that actually started from nothing. How did they get there? How did they work their way up to that? You're going to realize really fast, shit, they had to do some really hard things to get to this. And the biggest lie, and I need you to hear my words when I say this, the biggest lie that you can tell yourself is something is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Hear that and say it to yourself. Nothing is impossible. The only things that are never going to happen are the ones that you tell yourself are never going to happen. But they can happen. For example, I bring up this example all the time. I could go over to my neighbor's house and break their window and steal their TV. That's not impossible. I just don't want to deal with the repercussions that come with that. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get shot, breaking into a stranger's house. I don't want to face the social repercussions of being labeled a thief, but I could do that. You might be telling yourself building a multi-billion-dollar business is impossible. It's not impossible. You might need to put yourself out there to build networking connections with people that know the business, which is scary. But you can do it. You can put yourself out there. You might get shot down. There might be people that reject you. There might be rude assholes that are gonna not even talk to you, might look you up and down and sneer. Or there could be that person that's like, you know what? I see myself in you. I would love to be your mentor. I would love to help you out. You could tell yourself starting this business is impossible, or you could actually look it up online and look up, okay, how can I start this? How can I start a business for free? I could have told myself, like, oh, I don't know how to build a website. You know, you might not know this, but, I've had this tarot channel for like 2 years now. And for a long time, I was using this website called Snipfeed. It's like an online whatever that I hosted my store on. But they moved to a non-free version. And so I had to find something new. I could have sat down and told myself, I don't know how to build a website. Like, how am I going to do this? But you know what I did instead? I used the greatest tool ever invented, the internet, and taught myself how to do that. I looked up, on YouTube, okay, best things to host your store on. All of these were like, oh, this one's paid, this one's paid. Okay, this one's free. It's not so good. Oh, here's a perfect one. I found that thing. I didn't know how to work it, but I looked up tutorials. I figured it out. You are the one that is telling yourself that something is impossible. And it has caused you to walk away from opportunity after opportunity. And the next time you tell yourself something's impossible, I want you to look within and ask yourself, how could I do this? Okay, it would cause me to put myself out there, which terrifies me because I have social anxiety, but I could do it. It would cause me to, I would have to advertise online. I don't really know how to do that, but I could figure it out. It's about shifting that perspective and showing yourself how something can be done. Because for so long you've told yourself, oh, it's impossible, it's too hard, I'm never going to be able to do that. You are able to do anything you set your mind to, and you are betraying yourself by telling yourself you can't do it. I heard this story once. I don't know if you've ever heard of Leo Skeppy, but he's on here. He told this story once about when he was a nurse. There was this guy who was paraplegic, literally couldn't move his arms and his legs, couldn't go to the bathroom by himself, paralyzed from the neck down. And instead of being a victim to circumstance and telling himself, woe is me, I can never start a business, I can never go to school, I can never do anything without anyone else ever again. You know what he had Leo do? He had him hold up a pen to his mouth. This guy who's paralyzed from the neck down held a pen in his mouth and tapped a keypad using his chin and taught himself how to code. Dude, that is amazing. I feel like I am not strong enough to be able to be in that person's position and still push myself to try new things and learn new things. Like, that's something that I would have just rolled over and given up. But there are people who do not let themselves be victim to circumstance. And if you, who has working arms, working legs, tells yourself it's impossible to do something, you are betraying yourself. You're betraying yourself. You are the one stopping yourself from reaching your fullest potential. Because we have literally the internet. You can say what you want about it, but it is one of the greatest tools that's ever been invented. Every single thing that you'd ever want to learn about, you can learn online for absolutely free. YouTube itself is a great way to learn absolutely anything. There's online courses, there's all sorts of, if you want to know how to build a business, do you know how many videos there are of how to build a business? That's like one of people's favorite things to talk about on YouTube. Like, this stuff is everywhere. And for so long, you have told yourself it's impossible. It's not. Right now, I need you to vow to yourself, you are never going to say anything is impossible. Humans 300 years ago would have said it's impossible to fly. Now we have airplanes flying every single day. You might be like, oh, well, my dream was to explore space, to be an astronaut, but I'm not smart enough, or my body's not good enough, or you could do that. Yeah, it's very competitive, very difficult, but you could do it. You could work your tail off, work your entire life, go to college, you could learn all this stuff, you could work out your body and condition yourself, and then you could try out for that astronaut program. I can't guarantee that you'd get in, but you could do that. And I feel like one of the hardest things is when you have something that you want to do, you imagine it like climbing a mountain. The worst thing that you can do is stare at the whole mountain as a whole. And because that's just going to be like, oh my God, I'm so small and this thing is ginormous. I'm never going to get up that. But if instead you look down at the ground and you say, could I take one step right now? It's not like there's burning lava right there. Yeah, I could take one step. Okay, take that step. Now you're one step closer. Okay, could I take 10 steps? Yeah, I'm not going to pass out and die if I take 10 steps. Okay, I'm going to take 10 steps. Okay, could I go a mile today? Yeah, okay, it might be a little tiring, but I could go a mile. I mean, you might be like, okay, man, my shoes, they're not the greatest. Okay, could I plan better before this? Could I, go get some perfect fitting shoes? Could I get a friend that wants to do this with me? Okay, yeah, now we got this. Okay, now I can do 5 miles in a day. Okay, if there's 5 miles. Okay, now I'm gonna camp here. I'm gonna, it's just this process of, instead of looking at the mountain as a whole and seeing how daunting it looks, starting from nothing and being like, okay, $100 billion a year business. Whoa, that's daunting. I'm never gonna get there. But can you say, can I make $10 today? What do I need to be able to do to make $10? Okay, I need to set up a website. I can advertise online. I can advertise to friends and family. I can get my name out there. Okay, there's $10. Okay, can I make $100 in this month? I can make $10 in a day. Yeah, I can try. Okay, do it. And it's just this process of take those baby steps. Don't expect greatness overnight. Greatness never happens overnight unless you're extremely lucky. But it's about taking those steps. What do I need to do today to make tomorrow a little bit closer to my goal? Because instead, I feel like you've allowed this fear to consume you. You've allowed your ego to dictate what you can and cannot do, and it's caused you to walk away time and time again. And I don't say this to say you're a failure, you're bad. Nobody is anything. You can change overnight. It starts with your mindset. You can live in this idea of, oh, I'm a failure, I'm never going to achieve anything. Or you can tell yourself, you know what? I'm willing to try. I'm going to call myself a trier. Not a failure, but a trier. I'm not going to call myself a winner, because maybe you haven't won yet, but I'm going to call myself a trier. And you know what that identity is built on? It's built on drive, of wanting to put yourself out there, of trying new, difficult things, even if you might fail. It's about exploring, adventure, bravery. A trier, not a winner, but a trier is somebody that is brave. Somebody that is willing to take those failures on the chin and willing to get up and try again anyway. That is the kind of mindset I want you to have. Because when I look at this 8 of Cups, look at all these empty cups that have been left behind, walked away from. Every single one of those cups represents an opportunity or a path that you've walked away from because of fear, of telling yourself this story of all these reasons why you can't do something. And instead, I want you to remember that story I told you of the paraplegic guy that taught himself how to code using a pen in his mouth, just moving his chin. You might tell yourself right now, oh, I can't learn how to code. That's so difficult. Pick up a book, pick up your phone, figure it out. You can do it. There's so many tools to do absolutely anything. But it starts with a mindset. Are you going to have the mindset of somebody who is going to lie down and be like, woe is me, I'm never going to do anything with my life? Or are you going to have the mindset of somebody that's like, you know what, I may never get to that $100 billion mark, but I want to be known as the kind of person that put myself out there to try new and difficult things. To try those things that may have seemed impossible at first, but to tell myself, how can I find ways that this could be done? Be that person instead. And finally, with the Determination and the Magician card, you may not always have all the tools that you need at your disposal to do the things that you want to do. Like, for example, climbing the mountain. You may not always have the rope. You may not always have the perfect shoes or the tent or the perfect jacket or the perfect sleeping bag. But with determination, with the right mindset, you can say, okay, yeah, man, I climbed up, 300 steps, but I realized I don't have the right stuff. You could decide to walk back down and never try again, or you could walk back down and you could say, okay, what do I know for next time? Okay, I know I need this, this, and this. Where can I go to get that? Okay, I'm going to go and get that. I'm going to try again. And it might seem like you're losing progress because you went up 300 steps and you came back down. Now you feel like you've gone negative steps. But if the next time you know more, you have that determination and you do 500 steps, you've already gone further than you've ever gone before. Maybe you won't get up on the first try. Maybe you won't get all the way to the top on the 5th try, or maybe even the 70th try. But maybe it's the 71st. And it's all about pushing yourself to try again. Because if you don't quit, you win. I truly believe that. If you don't quit, you win. But if you quit, if you give up, if you tell yourself something is possible, you're never going to know what you could have achieved. I think Spirit and I see greatness in you. See the ability to reach for the stars, to accomplish anything you set your mind to. But whether it was other people around you or yourself that told you you couldn't do something, that has held you back. And like I said in the beginning, at one point you were a victim. But once you realize this, once you realize it's not actually impossible, but you continue to stop yourself, that's when you are doing a disservice to yourself. That's when you can no longer blame anything else. You can no longer call yourself a victim. Now that you know this information, you can no longer call yourself a victim ever again. The only reason that you will fail at this point is because if you choose to give up. That's the only reason. But knowing that should empower you and allow you to realize whatever it is that you want to achieve is possible. It doesn't mean it's easy, it doesn't mean it's simple, but it's possible. And when you find that thing that you really care about, that you really want to achieve, remember these words. And that will allow you to achieve anything you set your mind to. I think the universe has caused you to go through these trial and error, caused you to have these failures and these things that you walked away from. Eventually, the universe will put in front of you the thing that you are meant to go for. It may not be now, or it may be right around the corner, but the universe will give it to you when you're ready. And you need the right mindset to be ready. Whatever it is that you want, let's say you want that $100 billion company, the universe isn't going to give that to somebody that gives up on every little thing. But if you start shifting your perspective and saying, okay, how can I do these things? I want to try. I want to put myself out there. All of a sudden, the universe is going to start putting these things in your path because the universe knows that you will actually pursue them and fulfill them. The universe will give these things to you because it knows that you will fulfill them. I truly believe the desires that we have originated in the soul of the universe. It's a quote and a true belief that I have from the book The Alchemist. The desires that we have originate in the soul of the universe, and they are given to us in the form of passion and desire because we are meant to pursue them. Because at the end of the day, it's what the universe wants to be pursued. It's what the universe wants brought to fruition, brought into creation. I think within you, there is a passion that is meant to be pursued. But for so long, you've shot it down. And there's no wonder that you haven't been successful. It's because you haven't had the right mindset. When you set that mindset right, when you commit to yourself that you are going to continue to try, that's when you're going to reach success. I truly believe it. So pile 3, that's everything that I have for you. I know this was tough love, but I feel like this is what you needed to hear. And I know that whatever you set your mind to, you can do. But you have to set your mind to it. So that's everything that I have for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.